It's time for Fraud Watch, a series where we look at players or even franchises. By using both the expectation and numbers, we can determine if they should be considered frauds or not.
Wait.
I'm not here to hate or defend anyone. I shall remain unbiased. Maybe I might push an agenda, I don't know. Alright, for this video we got the 76ers, more specifically the Embiid era. Now they call Philly the city of brotherly love, but watching the 76ers they might want to change it to the city of ass. Anyways, back to the main topic. Is Embiid a fraud or nah? Pretty common answer to this, but let's dive into it anyways. Moving forward, I'm going to be using SRS, which is a simple rating system, which pretty much looks at a team's strength of schedule and their point differential to determine if the 76ers should be considered favorites or underdogs in the series they played in. Embiid has a 5-7 playoff series record, but I'm going to just recap the 7 losses. 2018 round 2, they played the Celtics, and they were actually the slight favorite. However, they lost in 5 games. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like I remember anything from this series. This was happening at the same time as LeBronto, but ultimately, the 76ers should have won this series. I know Embiid was young, so obviously you give him a pass, but at the same time, the Celtics team were also young. They were led by Tatum, so therefore there was no excuses on losing this. They should have won. 2019 round 2 against the Raptors, they were the underdogs and ultimately lost in 7. I don't hold this one against Embiid. They ran into Kawhi, who was in the middle of a monster playoff run, and pushed him to 7, where he hit a game winner. People make fun of him because of the whole crying in the tunnel meme afterwards, but like, let's be real here. Nobody outside of a healthy Warriors team would have stopped Kawhi that season, so we give him a pass on this. 2020 round 1 against the Celtics, they were the underdog and ultimately got swept. You kind of expected the 76ers to lose. The Celtics were just much better, but getting swept is kind of crazy. You could have won at least one game or something. To me, it doesn't really matter if you were swept or lost in 6 or 5, it doesn't matter. The 76ers were simply outmatched, and this isn't even Embiid's prime yet, so he gets the pass on that aspect for the last time. 2021 second round against the Atlanta Hawks, the 76ers were favored to win and lost in 7 games, as Embiid is finally in his prime, finishing second in MVP voting. Now, people hold this one the most against Embiid, and they should. There's no reason to lose this series. Yes, I know Ben Simmons forgot how to play basketball, but even then, Embiid was by far the best player on the court. Like, come on, bro, it's 6-foot Trae Young. You can't stop this guy? And essentially, I believe this is a series where we got the Embiid can't pass the second round narrative from. And yeah, he should get cooked for it to this day. 2022 round 2 against the Miami Heat, they were the slight underdogs and ultimately lost in 6 games. Now you can make the good argument that they should be expected to win this series even though they were the slight underdog, because you know they're the second guy for MVP. But unfortunately, in Embiid's style, he was actually injured for this series. He missed 2 games and he's probably hurt for the other 4. So we'll give him the injury pass on this one. 2023 round 2 against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were actually favored to win and ultimately won in 7 games. Now, at the beginning of the series, you can make the argument that the 76ers were not expected to win due to the fact that the Celtics were better. But that doesn't matter because they had the MVP that season, as well as a 3-2 series lead heading into Game 6. And what happened in Game 6? The game was tied with 6 minutes left, and Embiid put up 0 points. Jason Tatum having 2 points in the first 3 quarters explodes for 16 in the last quarter. Also outscored the entire 76ers roster in the final 6 minutes, 12-3 to close out the game, and then proceeded to put up 50 in the next game, while Embiid had 15. And once again, Embiid was injured in this, but man, you're up 3-2 and the series is in your hand. You're the MVP. Do you expect this guy to close it out? We can put this up as a 50-50. 2024 round 1 against the Knicks, the most recent one. The Knicks were the slight favorite and ultimately beat the 76ers in 6 games. I don't know why Embiid even played in this series. He was injured beyond belief. This guy had trouble blinking if you were watching. And once again, in Embiid style, we will give him the injury pass for this one. Recapping the 7-year window where we were supposed to trust the process, and it looks like they stopped processing. They were expected to win at least 2, maybe 3 of the second round series, and ultimately won none of them. Now let's be fair here and give credit where credit is due and show the 5 playoff series win that Embiid has won. We see these are against teams that he should have won against, and he did. There's really nothing impressive here outside of his win against the 2022 Raptors, which he should have won anyways. So in total, he's been the favorite to win 7 series, but he's only won 5. Now, it's very difficult to judge which series they should have actually won because Embiid is injured every single year, so I keep giving him the pass. But if we're saying this guy is on the same level as Giannis and Jokic, who are MVP level players, you gotta, at least be more healthy once in a while for some of these series. You gotta find a way to win at least 2 rounds and make the conference final at least. You should be in the finals, but we're putting him to the standard of passing the second round. Without a doubt, the 76ers Embiid process era has been nothing but frauds. Now that's the 76ers as a whole. But let's break down Embiid's individual performances. Now we're going to base this off of Embiid's regular season stats in comparison to his playoff stats. So we'll say if there's a slight decrease, it's expected, he performed as he should. If there's a major decrease, then he well underperformed. And if he somehow increases, then he overperformed. Now looking at all this, we see that his true shooting has never increased in the postseason in comparison to the regular season. But more importantly, we can see with his game score, he hasn't been playing to the level of a superstar. Outside of his first series against the Celtics and his most recent one against the Knicks, Joel Embiid has been underperforming in a lot of these series. Now these could be in part due to his injuries, but if he's healthy enough to play, I'm counting his stats. And I think the most important stat here is the game score ranking, which is essentially who was the best player in the series. We could see that for 3 of these series, he was the best player. And he should have been the best player in all of these series except the one against Kawhi. He should have been the second best. So clearly, Embiid has been underperforming. If we move on and look at his entire playoff career in comparison to his regular season career, we could see that a lot of his numbers drop by more than 10% when the playoffs come around. And the only thing that goes up is free throws, and he's already considered a free throw merchant. Once again, it's kind of normal for your stats to drop slightly during the playoffs. You're up against better teams, better defenses, and on top of the fact that Embiid's always injured, his numbers are going to drop even more. But when put into comparison with players like Jokic and Giannis, and you're considered a superstar, that does not matter. You're going to be held to the same standards. So ultimately, Embiid, without a doubt, has been a fraud. Let me know, do you guys think this was a fair assessment? It's kind of hard considering this guy is always injured. So obviously he's going to underperform to a certain extent. But at the same time, you can't keep using the same excuse year after year to downplay your performances. And even then, you had multiple opportunities to win and you didn't.